I want you to define stress and let me frame that a little bit, looking at distress, looking at good stress, eustress, even considering the Kelly McGonigal's work of the upside of stress. Can you define stress for the viewers and the audience?
Absolutely. I think that's a great place to start. So stress, we often look at as one term that describes the unpleasantries of life. But I think that it's more accurate to think of stress as something that is unavoidable, that we will face in our lives all the time, and that there are different kinds of stress, particularly two kinds that really matter. One of them is called Eustress, which refers to good stress, or the stress or challenges. If you think of stress as challenges that we face in our day-to-day lives, it's challenges that force us to grow. Right. So facing things like learning new skills, right. And having to overcome different things like making sure we don't get too upset at our kids when we're coming home from work and we've had a long day, and making sure that we, knowing our kids are sponges, that we're not overly bringing home too much stuff from work back into our home lives, right? So that is one example of something that over time, it's certainly challenging, but over time, as we work at it and practice at it, we get better at self-regulation, we get better at feeling more in control, and we get better at being parents, right? And so that has obvious benefits long-term that many of us who have been parents or have worked closely with children or our friends or family's children can see. And so that is one of the examples of what we call eustress, stress that helps us to grow and become better, stronger human beings. Then there's distress, which is what we think of as unpleasant stress that is really sort of chronic. It lasts over time. It's unrelenting. It continues despite our best efforts. So we feel like no matter what we do, it's not going away. And it often involves focusing on things that we can't control, right? So the more time we spend focusing on things we can't control, then the more out of control we feel, and the more distressed we feel. And then the less confident we feel in being able to overcome those challenges that we're facing. And so it's really about finding balance between these two and really try. And a lot of this is perception, right? So it's how we view stress. And if we start practicing viewing stress as a challenge that we can overcome, and it's a learning opportunity every time it presents itself, then a lot of what we used to think of as distress starts to transform into eustress, or good stress that helps us grow, which I think from the study of chronic stress and resilience over the last 15 years, this is one of this perspective change in terms of how we see meaning and challenge and stress has a tremendous amount to do with what makes those of us who are the elite, what we consider to be the elite performers in the physical, mental, expertise categories, like the elite athletes and the champions of the world we really look up to. It's what really separates those people from those of us who are really struggling with overcoming these challenges on a daily basis. A lot of it is perspective, and that's something we can teach. That's very exciting and empowering.